Hello. Okay, broski. So look, there is a whole lot. Hold on a minute. Everything is Gucci, right? I can't see, bro. All the way up. Okay. Now you know you gotta check ever so often, bro, because like sometimes it'll be acting crazy like that. Okay, look, bro. There's a whole lot going on in the world right now, right? Like there's a whole lot that's going on, obviously. So much going on in the world, but this is the most important thing that's going on in the world right now. I have to make this. I wasn't even going to do this. I wasn't even going to make anything today because I had a lot of other stuff to do. But with all this happening right now in real time, like it's necessary to talk about this right now. This has to be talked about right now because it's happening right now. The world globalistic affairs are changing on a global level in a way that the world has not seen in a very long time, right? In a very long time, and probably will. Who knows the next time it'll ever see it? But this is a worldwide global affair that's changing the entire outcome of events for forever. The entire shape of the entire globe is going to look very different here soon. It's going to look a lot different, actually. And it changes the way that events happen across the entire planet, on every single continent, from here on out for the rest of human civilization. So, and of course what I'm talking about is the Iranian war. What is happening in Iran right now is the most important global event on the face of the earth and is really the only news story that should be broadcasted 24/7 around the clock at this moment, because this has to happen, right? This has to come to pass. Because Iran, as I'm sure you know, as most people know, Iran is the biggest number one state sponsor of terrorism in the entire world. Iran has, in modern history, always been the number one state sponsor of terrorism in the entire world. Iran is not a friend of the United States. They're not a friend of Israel, obviously. But they're not just not a friend of Israel or Iran. They're not a friend of any European country. They're not really a friend of anybody. They're not a friend of anybody. And people would say, well, they're friendly with Russia or maybe someone else. But that's not really true, because that's more of a comraded, we have a common objective, so we'll help each other right now agreement, as opposed to actually being allies. They're not really what I would call allies. And so, which is why I despise the fake news, despite the fake news that has come out and said, Vladimir Putin is telling people to leave Iran alone. No, he hasn't. That's fake news. It's completely made up. Well, I'm so annoyed by people that make up fake news stories and put quotes of people's pictures on memes and then share it around the whole internet, and everybody has this idea that something's going on when it's not. I don't even understand why people do that. Like, what do you get out of spreading a fake news story that you popped up out of your own imagination while you were just sitting there inside of a room somewhere, and then you just had this idea of like what if I just told this entire false story that never happened? Like, I don't understand why people do that. Like, I don't, especially for like a global event. Like, what's the point? What do you get out of that? Like, I don't even understand why people do that in their own local level, like gossiping about their friends or family or whoever it is. But why would you do that on a global level? Like, you don't even know these people. Like, you only bring more harm to the situation. You just constantly help perpetuate the cycle of ignorance that we see in the world. But anyways, that's a small little, who cares about that, throw it away. Iran, what's going on in Iran right now is the most important development in the Middle East, maybe ever, especially recently, right? In modern history. It's on par with any event that's ever happened in the Middle East ever. That's for sure. So, like, to understand what's going on in Iran, you have to understand quite a few things first, right? Number one, you have to understand that you have to understand geopolitical mantra, and you have to understand that Iran is the most powerful country in the Middle East, I would say. Probably Iran, besides Saudi Arabia. Maybe Saudi Arabia might be a little bit more powerful, and that's because of their oil and because of the Saudi princes and where they register in world events behind closed doors. A lot of people say that the Saudi princes are billionaires, which obviously, but a lot of people would say they're worth like maybe 5, maybe 10 billion combined, and I don't know about it. Those numbers are way off, bro. Like, those are the official numbers of they're worth about 5 or 10 billion. I'm telling you that the Saudi princes are worth a whole lot more than that. A whole lot more than that. Those are registered numbers. Unregistered numbers, it's a whole lot different, man. That's a whole nother game. I think they're worth up to 10 times as much. Well, maybe more than that. 10 to 50 times, no exaggeration. Way much more than what people say that they're worth. Those people are worth a lot of money. Why the world globalistic affairs decides not to put their actual numbers of their actual net worth on there, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I don't know. But there's a reason why. These people don't want people to know that they, as a family, probably have more money than Elon Musk. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. But the thing is, so Iran is top 2 most powerful countries in the entire Middle East, politically, economically, and militarily. Iran has a powerful military for the size of their country. There you have your top 3 in the world, which would be the United States of America, Russia, and China, right? Obviously, we all know that. But then when you start getting into your second tier level countries, Iran is probably close to the top of that list in most powerful militaries on the earth that are outside of the big 3, right? And they're no small matter, and they never have been. There's a reason why, even though Iraq fell with Saddam Hussein and Afghanistan, and you see so many things happen everywhere, Iran constantly seems to never fall. They always seem to avoid the consequences of their actions until now. There's been many protests throughout Iran for the last 5 decades since they were taken over by the Islamic regime. But every single time that something starts, even when it's happening in other Middle Eastern countries, even when it's trendy, even when Saddam Hussein falls, right? People protest in Iran, but then Iran just starts shooting protesters, and then it gets shut down. And then Afghanistan, the same thing. And then when Gaddafi goes down, and Egypt went down, and these things are toppling, Iran starts pumping it up, they just start shooting protesters, it gets shut down. It's happened every single time. But this time is different. Because you can only push people so far until they say enough is enough. And now the people of Iran are saying enough is enough. We already know that you're going to murder and shoot and slaughter people. We don't care. Enough is enough. And you're going to pay the price for your actions. Iran is the number one state sponsor of terrorism in the entire world. Iran constantly gives money to Hezbollah, Hamas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban. Every single major Islamic terroristic organization in the Middle East in the last 50 years has been directly funded by the Iranian government, by the Iranian Islamic Republic. So Iran is the number one state sponsor of terrorism in the entire world. And that's really interesting, right? Because then that brings you into the horrific... The Iranian regime goes on national TV and tweets on Twitter live for everybody to see. We will nuke Israel off the face of the planet. He uses the word nuke. He says we're gonna get a nuclear bomb and we're gonna use it to nuke Israel off the face of the earth. And there's nothing that anybody could do about it. And he puts it on Twitter for the whole world to see. And then he says after that we're gonna go nuke the United States of America too, for the whole world to see. And then they begin enriching uranium, which is how you make a nuclear bomb. The most important ingredient would be enriched uranium. He goes and starts enriching uranium. And then they claim, after saying I'll nuke Israel off the face of the planet, after saying I'll nuke the United States of America, then they claim, well, we're not enriching uranium because we're trying to make a nuclear weapon. We're enriching uranium because we need nuclear energy. Yeah, but the interesting thing about that is any nuclear energy program that's for nuclear energy for, energy just to help, for whatever they say it's for, to help electricity and various other things, nuclear energy, those people are always enriched at 30%. About 30% enriched uranium is allowed to help create nuclear power. But Iran enriches their uranium at 60%, twice the amount needed for nuclear power. Why do they enrich it at 60%? Because to create a nuclear bomb, you need 90% enriched uranium. And you could go from 60 to 90 in the blink of an eye. It's very easy. So they keep them at 60 so they could run to 90 if they ever need to, because they plan on making a nuclear bomb, which is against international law, obviously. Although, if we're being real, all the governments of the world are enriching uranium on a regular basis, whether anybody realizes that or not. But Iran would be the biggest threat to get a nuclear weapon because they outrightly sponsor state terrorism, and they act like they threaten to bomb entire civilizations off the face of the map to that they'll never be remembered. They say it on Twitter for the whole world to see, make no apologies about it, deny that the Holocaust ever happened. And also, they're not exactly the most level-headed people I would see on the earth, so you don't really want those people to have a nuke. They might not even think ahead, like to a World War III scenario. So, because they're suicide bombers, right? As long as they're taking you out, it doesn't matter if they die too. Okay, so that's the Iranian government, right? The Iranian Islamic Republic. But what you really need to understand about Iran, to understand this whole revolution and everything that's going on right now, you have to really understand what's actually going on with geopolitical affairs. This is what you need to know, okay? Break it down. The history of Iran. Iran is not a Muslim country, nor have they ever been a Muslim country. This is really important to know. Before 1979, Iran was not ran by an Islamic republic. Okay.